Hello there, and welcome to my little arty corner of the internet this morning. And it's morning for me. It still is. It's 10:30, and it's Tuesday. It's the 8th of February, and it took me a long while to get out of bed this morning. I didn't sleep very well last night. I developed a rather upset stomach during the evening. Well, early evening, and I ended up going to bed early but couldn't get to sleep because I was up and down. And feeling better today, but my innards are still a bit tender, and I'm tired because my night's sleep was really badly broken. But it's okay because I can art. I'm up, I'm vertical, and I'm creating art, and the sun is trying to poke out from the clouds a little bit. So if there's variation in the light, you know why, because I work by a window that is south facing, and I rather like sunlight. Not that it's brilliant for working in terms of, seeing well. I often have to put the voiles down, especially in the summer, and sometimes on the brightest days I actually have to draw the curtains and work with artificial light, but that's fine, it is what it is. So thank you so much for joining me once again, if you have, and thank you for the lovely comments, and especially for a strange video yesterday. I suspect that I wasn't feeling too well for much of the day yesterday, and it just caught up with me later on, but I thank you for it very much. And for the new subscribers, thank you. I'm very appreciative of you, as I am just as appreciative of all my previous subscribers as well, and everybody who leaves likes and so on for what they see here. So what I've got here is a 5" by 4, is it 5" by 4"? I'll check. I think it might be. I could be completely wrong, mind you. This is what rulers are for. Apologising for the clattering. Oh, it's 5.5" by 4", which is 10 centimetres by, hopefully, by 14.5 centimetres. So all I've done is I've just added a little hint of colour onto this, and I've used Victorian Velvet Distress inks, because I think I'm going to, it's going to be a draw with me if you wish to join in drawing with me, of course. And I think I'm going to create something that might be Zentangle themed. I hope I can keep the Doodle World's critters out of this. They've got their own playpen at the moment, as in another drawing I'm doing, a big one. It's almost finished. I did quite a lot while I was awake in the night, so as one does, several hours work, and I'm getting there. But I think I'll try and stick to Zentangle here, and I've chosen pink because it's coming up to Valentine's Day, and I thought it'd be quite fun to incorporate the word love into a design. I actually didn't quite know what I was going to do until I got started. So I've put pencil guidelines down for this because they just let me work out how and where I'm going to put the letters, and to make sure I don't have any glaring disparities in size or whatever, because hand lettering is not my best skill. I used to be better at it, but I've got out of practice. For a while I did dabble with typographic portraiture, and I nearly got one done, but I was getting so frustrated with myself that I essentially gave up on it. So But it's something perhaps I'll return to, because I quite like the idea of using words or letters as textures in patterns. And I actually did this last week in one of the Lunar New Year designs I did. I'll just grab it because it's just behind me, hopefully easily available. Yes, there it is. And that's what I did with the border here, where I used Happy New Year, I hand lettered it, and then I just simply auraed it in Zentangle terms, and a bit of Diva Dance with it using black to create this kind of texture, which looks like a pattern until you look for the letters, and then suddenly you go, oh, I can see what they are. Well, that's what I hoped anyway. This one will be perhaps a bit more obvious in terms of the letters. I hope. But I still want to have that kind of Diva Dancey stuff going on around it, I think. We'll see. I haven't measured where the centre of this is because I don't know how I'm going to continue with this. Whether I'm going to do a series of borders or whether I'm going to go totally freestyle tangle art, as in more entangled or Zentangle inspired. I'll see how it goes, and I may not get it all done in one video, so we'll see. And of course the colour that I've added to the paper is incredibly light and pale, and that means that if I wanted to, I could quite easily add more colour afterwards. We'll see, because you never know. And do you know what I'm just so tempted to do in the middle of this O? Let's have a little heart dangling there. I can make it a little more heart-shaped. I think that'd be fun. There we go. If I'd made one of these just a bit thicker out, I could have one dangling there, but I think it's just fine in the O. I think this needs a bit more weight to it, so it looks a bit more in keeping with the other parts of the L. And it's going to attach there, I think. And I think I will attach them. I've started doing that because I think it adds that continuity of the letters and creates a shape, I think. Interesting one, an odd one perhaps, but still. I've got a distinct outline now that I can work with. Now part of me thinks, oh, I should really go and get a pink pen and do this in pink, but there's not going to be any chance of me doing that. So my first job is to create an aura around this. I don't want it too close and I don't want it too far away. I guess if I make it too far away, then I can always sneak another aura inside or thicken this one. Now I am going to be very brave and bring this round and up here. And again with this one. Because if I use Diva Dance, this will eventually become fairly flat, I think. So there we are. That's my first one. So it's time to have a look at this, and I'm going to start adding. Do I want to do that to this one? This is the problem. Do I want to start adding darkness to this and rounding these corners. I might actually do a little bit of it, just adding a little bit in the dips. A little bit of rounding or adding a little weight to the curve, to the line in the curve. And part of me is thinking I could do it on the inside curves as well. Which will help where I haven't perhaps made things quite as smooth as I would like in terms of joining pen strokes up and so on. That just adds a little bit there. Just a little bit more there. Just a little bit there. Oops. My problem is I'm using an 03 pen here, which has been much used and abused on various papers this week. In fact, in less than a week, I get through a fine line of pens like nobody's business. Now, in the Lunar New Year one, I did actually fill in the spaces in the letters. I'm not sure whether I want to do that with this. So you can see here perhaps, and in the A's, and in between the letters I filled spaces in. Well, I don't need to worry about in between the letters because I've already got that going on. But where I had like big dips down, I did actually practically fill that in. And I'm not sure whether I want to do that here or not. So I'm going to add the next aura, but there's no way I can get something down in there. So I'm going to leave that one and that one as they are. And I'm going to see what that results in. And I'm going to keep this one fairly close to the one I've already drawn. And yet I'm turning my paper. It just allows me to move my hand in a comfortable way and in the way I prefer to draw. Funny, vertical lines I like to draw from top to bottom. The horizontal lines I prefer to draw from left to right, I think. It does vary. So that already is looking a bit nicer here. That needed a bit of tidying up. This needs a bit of tidying up as well. And I am going to do this little bit of rounding again. This time I think on this round I could actually do a bigger job of it. Bigger job. Thicken it a bit more. So my mind is thinking what I can do in adding patterns around this. And I am tempted very much to do things that are very much based on heart shapes. So petals and the like. This one needs a bit of tidying. There we go. So that looks already quite interesting. Actually reminds me of 60s psychedelia in a way, only in a very slight way. And what I said about how I prefer to move my hand, I think I really think that I don't really have any preference is the honest answer. I've just realised that. I think I've said that before in another video. Oh yes, I always draw this way and then I go and do the exact opposite. I think it comes from working in sketchbooks so much. It's really awkward to twist and turn them round. And I think I get used to drawing however the paper's orientated. And learning to draw that way, you know, that kind of way, and it applies still now. So, but when it's smaller paper, I do turn the paper a lot. I will turn sketchbooks. It's just a pain. Getting this lovely shape going on here still a bit on the big side, so I'm going to just add some more weight there, and then another, there we go, and another aura again. And part of me thinks, oh, I should have used a finer pen for this, as I try and grab this to move it around. And I deliberately made the white line a bit wider there. You can never be exactly precise. It's we do our best, but without measuring instruments or digital tools or other tools that can help keep things a very similar distance. It's just not possible, right? So that was quite a bit bigger, so I can add some black to that. And this one I can now add quite a lot there to fill that space in, and this one's practically flat now. In fact, I think I could do it flat. This one's still not ready to be quite flat, but that's okay because I can do another round. And I have decided that I could have done this all as deviantArt with all those lumps and bumps in. I thought, no, I'm going to keep doing these until I've got everything more or less flat and level. Just basically where I am at now. And then this is the last one that needs to be sculpted to be flat, sculpted with a pen. And there we go. Now then, what do I do next? Because I do want a distinct border between this and any patterns I put there. So what I'm going to do is hopefully, I'll be back. Go, I'm back. I needed to dig out my jelly rolls, and I've got metallics. I've got a metallic pink, because I think if I'm going to go with this theme of love, then jelly rolls will be perfect for it. And so I'm going to put a pink aura around this. Now, I'm never very good with gel pens. And of course, I have to remember they take quite a while to dry, so I'm going to have to be careful where I put my hand. But I think this will help. Perhaps. I also must remember that I need to keep the distance about the same. Missed there. That's okay. And I think, oh, you see, I'm so tempted to colour that little black heart in there in pink, but I'm also scared of making an absolute mess of it. I think I will. There we go. So that will complete this particular thing. Now then, I want to leave a bit of a gap around this pink before I start drawing any designs in, so I shall pop a border around it in pencil, and there is a reason I want to do it in pencil, because it's just a guide really for me, because I want to create a bit untidy there. I want to create some kind of design here around here that will suggest love. So let's start with the iconic heart. I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to create a variation of Gamesinos, the Osvaldo Bubano tangle pattern from Fragments of Your Imagination, and it's almost got like a belt across, and for this one I will use this, and I've just realised I've missed an opportunity here, because I could have had this like a heart sticking out on either side, but that's okay because I'm not just going to do one of these. Yes, I know I've gone inside my pencil line, but that's how it sometimes works, is that that pencil outline is just a guide for me. So there we go. I'm going to add some dimension to these lines as well. Dimension is in weight, and this, and then this would go like this and like that, and then just pop the little hearts under for this one, and use an 01 pen just to add some borders in here. And you know I like to work in threes, so I'll put a cluster of 3 here, like so. And again, I think I'll go back to this kind of shape underneath. The heart works, does work, but I think it's nice to have variation. And perhaps a bit of a surprise when you notice there's more hearts there. Okay, so that's quite nice, and I think I'm going to have some lucca, which will grow from the point, I suppose, of the heart. Again, adding weight to lines to add volume. And that's where we're starting to get this border, and I think I'm going to do some perks here. Like so. Just to add a little line there for some shadow. And if I do it there, I'm going to need to do it, just checking, is this dry? Yeah. I'll still be cautious though around the metallic jelly roll, because I know there may be some bits that are thicker than others, and that may take a little bit longer to dry. So there again, and we'll have some perks nested behind one another here as well. And again, with the 01, these little lines going there. So that's quite nice, I think. Quite nice, except that I haven't done the weighting on these lines. There we go. Okay. Up here, I think I'm going to add a flower. So I'm going to start with the centre of the flower. Like so, will be nice. And then I'm going to draw petal shaped, no, even heart shaped petals. That makes more sense. And yet there are little gaps between the petals, and I'm quite happy with there to be little gaps there. And I do need, again, going to add weight to the lines where I want. That sense of volume, shadow. There we go. And then I'm going to add for the stamen a little heart on the end. So all hearts are plenty here today. That makes me smile. That actually does make me smile. It's looking quite nice already, I think. Okay, so what else can I do? I'm going to use a chain of hearts, but I'm going to turn them into almost like leaves. So we can have a spray of them perhaps going around. This way, and perhaps I can do some then going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm going to add a 7th. And these ones on this side are smaller and have gotten smaller as I've drawn them. I think that's quite nice as well. So we've got some leaves going on. You are aware I don't have a clue in my head what the design will be, what I want to create. All I know is I want to use hearts in as many different ways as I can in this. as many different ways and forms as we can. So let's do a cluster of hearts over here. This one, I'm going to put them together like this and then draw a heart inside. And let's add some shadow to these. So I'm going to add shadow here, underneath, and underneath again. There would be fine, there would be fine as well. Going underneath and underneath. And then we're going to do this on the inside. So these ones have been to the left and to the bottom. So inside it's going to be to the top and to the right. Bit there. So it looks like I've got hollow spaces there. And I think in there I'll pop some more hearts. But do the shadows as if they're standing up. So that's interesting. And I'm going to add little Mooka. There, and another one here. Nice. And then let's add some perkiness here. And again here. It's a very small one, but it's fine. However they end up is fine with perk. So that echoes what's on the other side. I'm not doing perfect mirror images or anything like that. So we've got that there, and I am going to pop these lines in these Mookas because there's not a lot of detail or anything else going on there. So okay, so these could do with something on the end, and I think I'm going to pop a circle at the end of them as if it's a capping end or something that caps them, and again using that finer pen just to add this here. But I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to add some going this way as well. And if I'm really lucky, well, I say lucky, there's no luck in it really, you just have to think ahead. I can get them to join up at that orb there. Okay, and we can do the same from this side. You know, if I wanted to, we could do them backwards. I just find that more awkward to do though. So there we are. So that works quite nicely. And then I think I'll just pop perhaps a couple of petals on either side of these little orbs just to give them a bit more volume and pattern there. So I think that works. It does. The other thing I wanted to do was, this is a lot of open space, which is fine, but I think that would actually come around there. That's what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I could have put hearts here, couldn't I? Made these tiny little hearts, but I'm not. I'm being traditional and sticking with little circly things. Okay, so what can I do here? Apart from that, carrying on adding weight and rounding while I wait for inspiration to appear. I think I'll just look. Let's add some these kinds of things. It's not dewed exactly, it's similar. I think it's a kind of fescue, is it? In Zentangle patterns. But I really would like a spray of something here. It carries on to the corner really. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Too late. Made the mark, I continue. Fine. So that's adding some interest here, I think. I'll add one of these in here. And perhaps one here as well. Squeeze one in there. I'm going to darken these little spaces, as in fill them with ink. I'll do all of those. Look. Not the best job done here, but I can complete this at my leisure at another time perhaps. So those look rather good. Those insides look very open, so what I'm going to do, or I'm going to start doing, I'm conscious this video may be dragging on a bit. Let's pop some of these shapes in here. I do like adding these. They may look like little eyes, but I don't mind. Eyes or seeds. I like the contrast the black adds as well over here. So I've got this here, and I think I could. This space here looks really awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'll add another one of these here and have it behind that one. And add Another one of those in there. That feels a bit better. This needs to be black, as does this one. Feels a bit better. It doesn't feel quite right. I think it needs perhaps another couple just coming out the sides, but I'm more interested in getting this to extend to the corner. And I think with this, I'm going to make use of flux. But I think this flux I'm going to do like this. I'm going to put a couple of auras inside and fill the central one. Again, getting some of that contrast going. That looks nice. That works. And I can even add perhaps a couple here as well. You do them in pairs like this, it looks like another heart. And this one can also have, I think, a couple here. Because they're so small, you just get the black bit in the centre really. I am going to add some weight to them, as well as curving and rounding corners. I believe that one actually has a little heart shape. See, many ways to get hearts into a pattern. And just round those off. And I actually think that I could a couple here as well. Like so. It's very diagonally going, isn't it? So what I do want to do is I am going to draw the borders in. And I am deliberately making these lines a little uneven and wobbly because I quite like that. It means that I haven't tried to draw an especially straight line, even though when I draw straight lines freehand, then they're usually not too bad. It's that kind of feeling. And that gives me that area to work within. So now I can decide what I do next. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is, apart from rounding these here and here and here, so I have an awful feeling I'm going to start adding some little auras to help create a space. So let's have a look here. Do this one as well. Ah, I didn't stop that one at the flower, doesn't matter. It'll work fine. So, and then what I'm going to do in each of these spaces, each of these dips, I'm going to put a circle. Do the same with these. And then repeat. Oh, no, I'm not going to repeat. I'm going to aura around these little circles. or circles that aren't really circular, but like to be known as orbs, because orbs don't have to be perfectly circular. They're perfectly imperfect, just like we are. We're perfectly imperfect. And then what I can do with this then is to perhaps aura that again. It's quite an uneven kind of border because the heart leaves were all different size and shapes. But all I'm doing really is adding layers of pattern. So the next layer of these will be a bit more even, hopefully. Or not, as the case may be. Already this feels like it's above this, and I have smudged. Somewhere I have smudged. Okay, so let's do the same. So I get to there, and as I come backwards, I'll aura all of these on this side. I'm so tempted to do 2 in 1. I am. Which will make it look a bit odd, sort of, except those shapes that we've created, these little, well, they are almost crescent moony. They'll become as if they're one there. In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have, but unless you try, you don't know. And like everything else, it'll become lost in the pattern. So let's have a look at this. That wasn't very good of me. Okay, let's do this one. So it's looking quite lacy there. And I think I'm going to do just one more aura here. So, and one more here. Like so. And then all of this space in between we do there. I do want to thicken this line up, this last line I've drawn. So I've picked up a Tombow Fudenasuki because that will make an easier job of it. The barrel is grey on this one because it's got two tips which are identical, I think. One's black, the other's grey. So I want to use the black one to thicken this line, so it feels that I've got a distinct drop off from that layer. And I think I'm going to do the same here. with that one, just to help separate those or just to pop these hearts, these heart leaves are on a different level to the others, and then I'll do the same here. I'm using this as a pattern, not as realistic lighting today, because I'm working Zentangle. Squeaky pen. Microphone picks that up, apologise. Does happen. There we go. So that's a bit more black, it's a bit more stark. I'm not entirely sure about this now. I'm not. We'll keep going, we'll have a look and see what happens with the next. I think the next one what I'm going to do, I think, is use hearts on this side in a Morisot kind of way. I've fallen in love with Morisot. I find it a lovely, random kind of pattern that is great for filling spaces and leaving things open. Leaving some open space rather, which is what is needed in a design. I have a tendency to want to fill every square inch of paper or every square millimetre of paper with pattern, and I don't think that's always a good idea. One there. So I'm having a look to see if there's anywhere I could do with adding another heart or two, because the next job is to start to connect these to each other, but also to everywhere else that you can. It's almost like creating a broken pavement. Actually, here I need another one, I think, just to break that space up. Going to need one here, I think. The lovely thing is you can always add them in as you go along. All the big ones all clustered, which is fine by me. I can live with that. Actually, hearts are really lovely to do with this because you've got so many bits that can be joined together. Oops, that'll do. Got strange connections going on there, but that's fine. That's Morisot. Add one there. 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 So that adds some interest on that side. I'm not happy about that, but I can't do anything about it now. And on the other side, I was thinking about increasing the density of pattern again here, but using, go this way and see if I can get this to work. I am thinking of using Artwyrd. Just going to pop another one of these in here because it just doesn't feel quite right, this shape. I'm trying to work out if I got enough space to tuck one in here. Now I've got the border in. I don't have to. I can just fill this in actually. Where's that one? Just use the top. Oh, try and use the black end, Angela. It helps. There we go. So we've got that there, which looks okay. That it looks a bit odd. So we'll get rid of that little area. Looking at it upside down, I am so tempted to try and pop some oysteroids, but heart-shaped ones in here. What do you think? Shall we try? I think so. Oysteroids, they have very distinctive and quite dense layers, so it looks like they're stepped, like oyster shells. If you look at them, you can see the growth rings are stepped in many ways. There we are, fill that bit in. I've only popped a few tangle patterns in here, or heart-based patterns. I'm not entirely sure I've done a good job of this. Most probably not, but I'll have a look and decide what to do once I've finished it. You may never ever see this if I decide, I don't want to share this with people. They think I'm really rubbish at art. Okay. There's another one. Black that in. And another one can go here. I've yet to do all the thick lines on these, haven't I? Oh gosh, look at the mess I've made of that one. Take my eye off the ball for a moment, or my eye off the heart for a moment, and things all go silly. Okay, and so I've got some oysteroids there, which are in definite contrast with this. And I'm going to see what I can do here with oysteroids as well. The hearts are changing direction now, so the lines that we thicken need to change. So I will add some more on this side. We'll really get this echoing now. Like so. Let's have a look. I'm just going to fill this area now. Again, I think I'm going to use oysteroid. Like so. And perhaps another one like so. And then start with another one. Like so. ever decreasing or oysteroids, like so. The one thing I do want to add something to, I think, is these areas. I think I'll colour black. It's ever so little. Well, they're not in the grand scheme of things. They'd be considered large enough to remain in a colouring book sheet page. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they would be. Other people might disagree. But then I'm going to fill that in that way. So there's some contrast. So I think I'm done with this. Yeah, I know I need to add shadow and so on, but this is a heck of a long video. I just realised that. It really is a heck of a long video. Oh, look, I've got a heart there. That one needs to be joined in as well. That one goes there. Oh, that one could go there. Just looking for where some bits haven't been joined that look like they should be joined somewhere. So I don't know what you think of this. I don't know what I think of it, to be honest. Perhaps I'll come back to it when I've had a chance to think about it and do some shadowing, whatever with you. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Say it's a really long one today, but you've got me drawing this in real time. And I hope you give it a go. Maybe not all the patterns I've used. Perhaps you can use things in your own way. And yeah, it's an interesting one. I really need to sort. Oh God. If I finish, I really do need to just tidy that bit up there because that was a bit scrappy. So I don't know what you think. Let me know. And I'll see you again tomorrow. And it'll be, oh, it's template Thursday on a Wednesday, isn't it? So it's drawing the colouring template for this week. So thank you for sticking through to this, to the bitter end of this. If you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And notifications if you want to know when I release a new video, which is most days actually. But we'll see what happens. I'll go and have a cup of tea and I'll come back and think about this then. And you may never see it. But if you do see it, you knew that the cup of tea worked magic. So take care for now. Bye-bye.